If you've been working in Power BI for any amount of time, your model probably has a lot of stuff in it. Old measures, experimental measures, measures built on other measures. The problem is, right, deleting the wrong thing can break your report. So most people just leave everything. I'm Alison Gonzalez. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer here at Pragmatic Works. And in this video, I'm going to show you an external tool called Measure Killer. It scans your report and tells you exactly which measures and columns are actually being used and which ones are safe to remove. I'll walk you through every report, show you how the tool works and how I can use it confidently to clean up a data set without breaking anything. I will have this link in the notes, as well as you can just go to the Microsoft Store and search for Measure Killer and download it. You will need admin permissions to be able to download it to your device. But it is a fantastic tool and you can use it completely for free. Notice everything up here that you get is totally in that free version. And then paid version, you got so many extras. I'm not going to dive into all of these today. I'm just going to stick with the free versions in the desktop. But take a look through these because if you are working consistently in Fabric in the Power BI service, this is a fantastic tool to really verify that not only all of this is good to go, but also everything else that you can see here, including your Power BI semantic model. Your tenant analysis is in here too, which is so crazy, so awesome. You can get into data flows, you can get into apps, your reports, even Fabric notebooks. So get that downloaded and then let's get on into Power BI. So I have a report open and in this report, I've got a bunch of different tables. All of those tables have a ton of different columns in them. And I've also got tons of measures sprinkled in all throughout. And I don't have a ton utilized actually in my visualizations and what I've sorted and figured out and wanted to use this for. Now, granted, this also isn't a fully built out report with tons and tons and tons of visuals. However, you will see it will directly mark what is used and what is not used. So once you have Measure Killer downloaded, you're going to go into your external tools. Now, you may be used to this if you've used XStudio in the past, and you can see how you can have that connected report experience using it directly right here in your external tools. Now, the nice thing, and hopefully reassures you, is that Measure Killer is totally an external tool. It does not delete anything automatically. It just analyzes the report and it shows you what's being used and where. So this is a very safe first step. Once I'm on my external tools here in Power BI and I go to the Measure Killer, once it is loaded, you will see this window. Now for our use today, we are totally fine with this version. However, if you are looking to do things in the service, you will want to make sure you have the most up-to-date version because it gives you a lot of additional features in the service. So I'm going to select right here this single model and report. Notice when you hover over it, it says analyzing a single report and dataset is the same Power BI file open on your machine. We're going to select that one. And I can see that it's connected into the file that I have saved. I'm going to open and I'm going to select next. And we can see we have a pop-up come up with Measure Killer opening as its own window in here. And with this, I can search through. I can see that I'm connected to the file. And I'm going to select Analyze. And there we go. Take a look at that. As soon as I pressed Analyzed, look what we have. I now have all of my results in this result pane right here in the middle of my screen. Over here on this left panel, I can see I have this execution log, so I can see how this is progressing through. I can also see in this summary what's going on. I can see I've got a green check mark along with this X1 of unused. 10% is unused in this data. 25 out of 67 artifacts are unused. I got a lot of dead weight on here that we need to clean up. I also see our total model size, our tables, and more in here. Love that it calls out my perfect no many-to-many relationships here. We've got our 8 many to 1, 0 many to many, and 0 1 to 1. So you can check those out. Now, like here in our results, we can see things are color coded, and not just color coded. So vision differences you may have, right, aren't showing that red and green. I like that they also have icons as well. So we have green check marks as well as the X's for anything that is not used. Now, again, this isn't doing anything to my actual data set. Take a look at here, looking at the unused things from here isn't actually killing anything in here. It's just giving me the knowledge that I can then go and then take that back and get rid of anything, that means going back into the Power Query Editor and removing columns from there, right? Best practice. Or going to the source, bringing less in, right? Sometimes you're like, well, I don't know, maybe I need this, maybe I need this, maybe I need this. Turns out you don't. So you're able to go back to that source as early as possible to get that most amount of benefit and remove them as soon as you can. So now I can see in this, right, I'm not just looking at measures in here. I am seeing lots of columns. Make it larger so I can see all the calculated columns. I made a calculated column, didn't even use it. Let's get that dead weight right out of here. I also have measures as well that are unused. Again, let's get that data out of here. Now, there is a note in here, used by unused. What does that mean? That means that it is used in another measure or another column that is also not used. So kind of delete everything that is first unused, remove it, right? Delete the measures if you're not going to use them, remove the columns as far back as you can go. And then once you've removed all of the unused, that's when you could go back and remove those two, used by unused. Otherwise, if I want it removed, this value column on my fact budget table, the measure that is, or column that is using that would then throw that error because it's like, hey, you're not using me. However, I don't really care because I'm going to get rid of that anyway. But if that kind of stresses you out, seeing that error, you can kind of follow that good use case and get rid of the unused first and then get rid of the used by unused next after that. Now, if I'm curious where and what is that used by unused, if I expand my little arrow right here, I can see that it is used in two measures. So my total forecast and my total budget, which also I can see down here are also flagged as not being used, right? Unused over here. I can see that that is where they are coming from, kind of like that. All right, I can also look over in my results. I can switch over to tables and I can see all of the information about the tables, the percentage of use of each of these, right? Got category used a lot in here, where geography, I'm only using 16% of that, which fine. But right, let's look at the other, 80+% of that table that I'm not utilizing. In Clean Your Model, I've got some suggestions here. Now, this does require that additional license to run. But I gotta say, even at the free version, this is immensely valuable for not just saving time for you having to go manually figure out what's used, what you have, especially in a larger report. We've got a very small report here, but in a larger report where you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of columns, page after page after page of visuals, it's a lot harder and takes a lot more time to track down what you're actually utilizing. So this gives you a lot of help. We've also got some other tabs we can click through in here, letting us see our results. We can see our relationships that we have. So if you have tables that aren't used, relationships that aren't being utilized, you would be able to see those. We can see all of our DAX. We can see the M coming through as well. Love this, right? If you're in the Power Query Editor utilizing this, want to copy out queries to utilize them, super easy to be able to grab it right from here without having to go open the Power Query Editor and grab that information. Now, if it is helpful for you, you can also export this. So export to an Excel file. So if you want to have that Excel file up, go through that a little bit more, maybe sort and filter things around in a way that's going to be helpful for you, you can definitely do that. What I like to do is just have it open on two windows. I'll move my measure killer over. I'll go through, kill all the measures and columns and things that I don't need, and then rerun this to verify that it is actually working. And now I've gotten rid of all of the ones that I don't need anymore. I I went over to my report and I killed 2 measures. I don't spend too much time killing all of them, but I got rid of 2 measures. So let's go back and forth and reanalyze, see if any eagle eyes can spot who I got rid of or what I got rid of. And remember right up here at the top, we had that extra line of used by unused. And we had a total budget and total forecast measure in there. Weren't used anywhere. So I went and I got rid of those 2 measures. So as soon as you make those changes in your model, you can instantaneously come back, analyze, verify, see where you're at, get that live kind of access to where you're going and that nice check as you're going through and making sure that what you're doing is actually helping in your total module, right? I would like to see that model size decreasing, my unused percent decreasing as well. So I know that I'm getting a very tightly controlled, small as possible, sufficient as possible module going out into the world. So Measure Killer scans every page, every visual, and every interaction in the report. It's looking at what measures are referenced, which columns are referenced, and it also understands dependencies, as we saw, with those used by unused. So if it's a measure that's only used by another unused measure, we saw that it would catch that. This dependency tracking, this is what I love. Because so often when you're starting a report, you're like, I'll write this measure, and then I'll write this one to build on that, and then this one to build on that one, and this one to build on that one. And then at the end of the day, you're like, I'm just going to write a bunch of variables in this one measure to handle everything right here. But then you still have 10 other measures not doing anything. So we want to get rid of those. Measure Killer is one of those tools that doesn't change how your report looks, but it massively improves how maintainable your model is. I typically run it before publishing, before sharing a data set with others, or really anytime I'm refactoring an older report. I use this also in helping our customers here at Pragmatic Works when they sign up for mentoring services and they are going through and saying, I have this report. I need to make it more efficient. I need to save space. I've got a lot going on here and I don't even know what I'm using. Pull up good old Measure Killer and walk through that with them and show them how easy it is to find and identify now what they're not utilizing, how they can safely and confidently remove those items from their report without changing anything. If this was helpful, give this video a like and let me know in the comments if there are other Power BI tools that you would like to see a walkthrough for.